And welcome to the Big T Show. I am Big T, and we are back. Let me just double check, make sure we're going. We got it right on the fucking page, because you know I'm a fucking big boomer. Let me just make sure it sounds good. Yeah, we are good, and put this bitch on airplane mode. I was just waiting. It's St. Patty's Day, rainy St. Patty's Day in New York. March Madness starts today. No, one NBA game tonight I'm staying away from. I got a bad beat from last night, a bad cash out, bad win that I cashed out early because I'm a fucking pussy. But what was I gonna say? Fucking, I can't help myself. Early action during the day, you know, no working out with my trainer, so it's like let's fire action. I already took a loss, and then I live betted fucking Providence. But listen, it's called gambling, not winning. But I have another bet live, a bet that's live still. We'll see what happens. A couple of first halves. Let's see. Let's document it just in case it does hit. Baylor -8 first half, 8.5. Gonzaga -9.5 first half. Kentucky -6.5 first half. Arkansas money line for the game. UCLA 4.5 first half, and Kansas 6.5 first half. Yeah, I see a trend there. First half. I'm a maniac. I bet the NBA usually first half, and I just love that intensity of getting it right in 24 minutes instead of 48. And if you hit the first half, then you have some action to fucking live bet the rest of the game. But you know, it's been a little while. I'm gonna drink a water real quick. Been a while since a solo show. We had James Pontillo in last time. You know, I've been busy. I've been writing comedy, doing a lot of stand up, and you know, with my camera guy being hurt, the THC TV's on a little bit of a medical hiatus. We're gonna be back hopefully next coming weeks. We have a bunch of shows in the can. Hopefully he'll be able to start editing them soon. We're not gonna tell him his name because he has a job and stuff. But hopefully speedy recovery. It's been a little while. It's when you work with someone weekly, you sort of miss that person. You get into a routine. Like I love setting up the before and after, the during the show. You know, you build some camaraderie, you know, fucking, but we're going to get back into that. We're not stopping that, you know, even though I stopped edibles. Honey fighters, join up. We have a new show on the horizon. I'm going to get to all that later on. But listen, man, I just have a beef. I have a beef with unfunny people. You know what I mean? There's unfunny people in the world. Let them be. But then there's unfunny comics, there's unfunny fucking shitheads on TikTok, there's unfunny people on Instagram. Like, everyone has a platform these days. And I'm not saying I'm funny or not, but know what? I know I'm not funny. You know what I mean? And, like, there's some cunts, some comedy cunts. And I don't mean females. The cunt means man or woman. You know, people always say, oh, why isn't take a pounding like a pair of balls or something? A pussy takes a pounding more. It's like easy. I know it can take a pounding, but you're a dirty finger away from a yeast infection. You know what I mean? Like, I can rub dog shit on my balls and not get an infection. So, like, easy with the comparison. And a cunt, it could be man, woman. It's gender neutral, like you motherfuckers like to use. Like, fuck that. There's these comedy cunts, and it's a beautiful day in New York. I got the window and door open, so if you hear the train in the background, it's New York fucking city, man. But comedy cunts, man, I fucking hate them. Like, comedy's supposed to be a community, camaraderie. Like, we're all there. You know what I mean? We're not doing racist propaganda. We're not doing anti-LGBT, whatever it is. You know, we're not anti-politics, anti-democrat, whatever that bullshit is. I don't do politics. But, like, we're all there to be funny. And, like, even if you don't agree with the person on stage, like, don't be a fucking cunt. Because you're not even funny. Like, last night, I was at a cool mic, cool-ass host, first time. I don't even know, South Slope, Park Slope, back of a bar, you know, and there's some funny people, but there's also some unfunny people, and that's what open mics, you know what I mean, you get a lot of unfunny people, you know what I mean, because there's a stage, maybe their friends think they're funny, or some bitch told some guy that he's funny, and he thinks he can do comedy, and some of it's fucking, it sucks. I'll be honest, it sucks. You know what I mean? And then last night, like, just, the thing that set me off was, I'm going in my car. I had a joke about like people can't say no to merch, and like fucking there's definitely people in the city that use my face to smear cum off their stomach when they jerk off a girl's ass, when you pull out and shoot all over a girl's ass. You know, And the host's like, oh, I would love a free hat. So I'm going out to get the free hat. There's a guy that wasn't even at the mic. He was at a mic the other day. He sucked dick. He left early. You know what I mean? He got off the stage early. He sucked so much. It was horrendous. Then this girl who blew the light today, which is just fucking rude. On top of your story and comedy sucked. I'm walking down the ramp to go to my car. I'm like, hey, have a good night. They don't say nothing. You don't say nothing. You don't have to be my friend. At least be fucking cordial. We're all comics, you fucking two unfunny fucking losers. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm walking to my car. There's a guy. There was actually some audience members there. He's like, oh, man, funny shit tonight. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Have a good night. He goes, you too. Oh, really? Oh, that's how humans interact? You say have a good night, even if you just cordial with people. Oh, is that? Oh, oh yeah, that's how people act. Now, and don't give me that. Oh, comics are anxiety ridden and shy. Fuck you. At the end of the day, we're all fucking people. Stop making excuses for people. You know what I mean? And like, I go to my car. I'm like, yeah, thanks for saying goodnight, buddy. Not like those two cunts over there. And I said it for them. I didn't say it loud enough for them to hear it. I'm just a loud person. And they did fucking hear it. I'm like, those two unfunny fucks over there. Because at the end of the day, the cream rises to the top. And eventually these unfunny people, they might sneak their way on shows because there's shows where people hook up their friends instead of going for the funniest person, which you're just ruining your show. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know you might have a spot on their fucking show next week. But it's like sometimes you're at a show and it's like, who picked this person? You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm saying this humbly. You know what I mean? I'm saying this. I'm not saying I'm fucking funny, but I know what funny is. You know what I mean? Like, I know, and a lot of this shit is just unfunny bullshit. And I said it. I'm like, and I made sure these unfunny cunts that couldn't say have a good night because maybe they disagree with my set or this. But you know what I mean? Like, why don't you worry about laughs instead of worry about my set? Because my set, there was laughs there in a room that I know is not my room with the people there. You know what I mean? Like, and I made sure these two unfunny cunts, you know what I mean? Like, no matter the shit I talk about, I'll go to like a pro show, I'll listen to pro comics, and their premise is similar to what I'm thinking about, or my ideas and premises. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I have a new show coming out soon with Grove 34. We're going to get to that in a little bit. And I'm like, know what? I'm going to do what I know. I've been reading the newspaper since I was in high school. I'm going to go with current events and my stoner view on it and my view on it. And then I'm listening to like Sam Morril and Mark Norman on We Might Be Drunk. And they have a fucking current event part now. I'm like, oh, fucking great. You know what I mean? We just had our first meeting last week where we were kicking ideas around. So like, and then I hear some of my like, I'm not that far off than what the pros are talking about instead of your fucking nonsense. Your bullshit that's not funny. It's just there's an open mic, there's a stage, you can pay to get on. Anyone can do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're a comic. You know what I mean? Yeah, I applaud you for trying in this fucking society where you get an award for fucking trying. But know what? You suck. Your people skills suck. Your jokes suck. Your parents suck for keeping you and making you this entitled cunt. You know what I mean? There's no way people can do mics at 12, 5, 8, 9 o'clock picking up dog shit as a dog walker or a fucking bus boy or bus girl, whatever the fuck these people's jobs are, living in one of the most expensive cities in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you have your parents backing. You come from money. That's why you're comfortable and unfunny. Funny comes from pain. To make light of the fucking situation. And know what? Yeah, there's rich people that or come from a good family that are funny also. You know what I mean? But it's not, like, most of the time, it comes from hurt and pain. You know what I mean? Most of the time. It's not 100%. Anytime something's absolute, I check out because you're giving yourself 0% of a chance of being right. You know what I mean? Because the one time you're wrong, it's out the window. And these fucking comedy cunts, they just make me sick. You know what I mean? Like, you're entitled. You're not funny. Sorry, I put it on airplane mode. I just got a message, just fucking threw me off. Going to a Ranger game tonight. Shout out to my boy Samanese for the awesome Ranger tickets. Not even a Ranger fan, but know what? I mean, not a hockey fan, but I love going to the game because you're not sweating your dick off. It's cool because of the ice. As a fat person, even in the winter, it's very enjoyable to go to a fucking game. But back to these cunts, and I mean cunt in gender neutral way, like I said, and like even these freaks. Like, I'm at a bar. And some of these bars, like, how do you not sell water? There's kids on Flatbush Avenue, Avenue U, and major intersections throughout the city, probably killing it with a $4 case of water, selling them for $1 or $2. Like, how are you not selling water? You know what I mean? Like, like yeah, some people at a bar, I know they're there to drink, but sometimes someone might have had too much to drink or needs or is hungover and dehydrated. Now you hit them over the head for a $2, $3 bottle of water. Me. You know what I mean? Or whoever else that needs a fucking bottle of water. Why would you leave money on the table? First off. So now I'm trying to support a bar or a place that's having an open mic, and there's these fucking shithead comics. I'm like, who are drinking. I could see them drinking. I'm like, hey, does anyone want a beer? People get all fucking weird. Like, no, I'm good. Like, hon, I hear you on stage. You'd say how broke you are. You have flies flying around you because you stink, and you don't want a free beer? Whatever happened, like, yeah, have a beer. Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. I'm trying to support the bar, and these fucking freaks, these comedy cunts, are fucking say no to free drinks, and then like they just make some of them just make me sick. And it's like, yo, I'm not trying to be your friend. I don't need friends. If we become friends, it's cool. It's cool. I have plenty of friends. I have plenty of fucking associates. You know what I mean? I have plenty of acquaintances. But know what? Like, you don't have to be like. It really just makes me sick. Like, just like they looked at me when I was like, hey, have a good night. You can't be like, yeah, you too. But I mean, I made you so sick. Like, and I know there's been times I've been in rooms in Bushwick with these fucking woke cunts, like the shaved head bitch that all I do is wish the worst on. I wish I seen her face in the paper that she got ran over by a tractor trailer on Bushwick Avenue. My dick would get hard. And I'd probably jerk off to fucking this shaved head cunt when I was at Tiny Cupboard, just checked out and just was looking at the wall. The whole set looking at the wall instead of looking at me like a fucking cunt. I you know what I mean? Like, yo, fuck you and your fucking little ideas of what the world is. Go back to wherever the fuck your parents fucking entitled you from and get the fuck out of New York, you stupid bitch. You know what I mean? Like, go back to Massachusetts, this girl last night. Like, your joke sucked, you suck, and you have no fucking social skills of even being cordial with someone. Someone that's giving out free merchandise to the host, bought a fucking another comic a beer that actually said yes after I was like, no one wants a fucking beer. I did it again last night. Now it's like, all right, let me just agitate these assholes. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't even say, oh, have a good night to a fellow comedian? You stupid bitch. I can't wait till you go and get a real job and like you tell people in the future, I tried comedy once. Yeah, because you're not funny and comedy will weed out unfunny people eventually. You know what I mean? Give it time. You're going to be out of the fucking game because, know why? It takes a lot of balls to go up there and just not get last because you're an unfunny fuck. I'll give you that. But know what? Comedy will weed you out, you unfunny cunts. Unfunny cunts. It'll weed you out. And I'm happy to say that. And know what? It's not going to weed me out. Know why? Because I'm like, I haven't done this show because I'm writing. I'm trying to be funnier. I'm trying to not be so punch you in the face with my stuff. And know what? Like... And I'm saying that fucking humbly. But know what? Shout out to all the real comics. Shout out to all the friends I made in comedy. And, like, shout out to the people that know how to fucking just be cordial with people and have a conversation and be cool about it. And know what? That shit, sometimes I say a lot of cliche shit. Like, you know what I mean? And fucking sayings and stuff. But know what? Real does recognize real. And funny motherfuckers do recognize funny motherfuckers in comedy. And you know what I mean? Shout out to all you motherfuckers. All you other unfunny motherfuckers faking it. And know what? You might be a good writer. You know what I mean? You could write funny. I'll give you that. You know, you paid attention in school. I was too busy trying to be the class clown and fighting and wrestling to give a fuck about your and writing and all that other bullshit. So like, you know what I mean? Like, you might be a decent writer and might be funny, but all you other unfunny motherfuckers, I can't wait to comedy weed your ass out. And it's the ultimate fucking equalizer. And you will be gone eventually. And no one will deal with your unfunny shit at the open mic. You know, I need to look at my phone and check a score for a second instead of paying attention to your shitty set. And know what? Learn how to be a fucking better person, you fucking comedy cunts. That's all I got to say about that. And speaking of comedy and shows, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. We had some great shows in Rockaway. Shout out to Wits. Brought Keith Murray down, a couple other people. You know, outside in the tent during the pandemic. I don't know how I'm getting fucking messages on airplane mode, but we'll deal with that fucking noise. But a couple other spots we had. And, you know, shout out to Wits and them. They do amazing fucking food. I wanted that corned beef pizza yesterday. I got there a little early. They weren't open yet. But, like, I fucking... You know what I mean? I tried my hardest to get a bunch of shows going here. I'm going to still try, but shout out to Sekou Ali. We had him on those shows. Funny motherfucker. He's having a show at the Wine Bar on the Boulevard March 26th. I'm on it. Stack lineup. Nick Tellelli, Rufet, I forget his last name, Sekou. It really is a stack lineup. Free show. Just go support the wine bar. It's a cool spot. I mentioned it to people, and a lot of people know about this place. I'm not aware of it. I wasn't a big wine drinker when I did drink, but I haven't drank in a little while. And shout out to the people. You know what I mean? He's getting spots. He's making shows, and I appreciate him. And you know what I mean? Rockaway's like a drinking town. I can't understand some of these bars. You know what I mean? Like on a Wednesday night, you're killing it in the winter. A Thursday to try to have a comedy show, and the establishments that had shows with me, if you didn't like the direction it was, or I was still new to comedy, still learning the ropes, you can't give someone a second try. Like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? And like, especially when businesses were failing because after Corona, like you see a lot of still bad like practices. Like, how do you not take a chance? How do you not try to do something outside the box? Or if you did work with me, like, hey, can we change this? Can we change that? Let's try again. It's like I don't get it, and it's not for me to understand. It's not my business. But I am gonna get a show. I'm gonna stop by one of these bigger places. I'm gonna try to rent it out. Get in their ear that I'm a local comic. You know what I mean? Get a show going down here. I do have access to fucking Comedy Cellar Comics, open mic on the Rise Comics, people that you're gonna see at the Cellar eventually. Trust me, when I'm at mics or goes to shows, I see these people that I'm coming up with, or when I first started were right above me or above me, and I see them. One kid, Osama Sadiq, on fucking American Got Talent, fighting with Heidi Klum. I used to go to his mic at New York Comedy Club. You know what I mean? Like, comics that are on, I see him at the Cellar, going on tour with David Tell when I first started at the Creek. Like, it's just those comics. I talked to, shout out to Ryan Reese, gave me many chances at the place in Long Beach, the Beach House. Mad good food, great shows. They just had David Tell, fucking Shane Gillis. He had me on with, what the fuck's his name? TJ Miller, Jeff Ross, fucking Rich Voss. You know what I mean? I talked to him today. He's bringing a big show that I don't want to leak anything yet, but I will talk about it on the next show. I go to support because he's the man. He fucking took care of me. He's funny as fuck. And I have access to these people, but just by, you know what I mean, going to their shows and like, you know what I mean? They want to work. They want to do their normal stuff, but they'll come to Rockaway for a show. You know what I mean? Because when the shows are good, they're rocking. You know what I mean? And we're going to rock out next Saturday. And like some of these places, like we can bring Cellar Comedy. We can bring Manhattan to Rockaway and they still don't want to work with me. But know what? I'm going to find someone who will. And eventually I will find my own spot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be stopped, man. You know what I mean? Like, I want to keep investing in myself until I have my own spot. Like the spot I'm going to have my show at in 420. It's like a talk show. I'm going to get to it. But like, we had James on it last week. Grove 34, Rob Rigo, Derek. What the fuck's Derek's last? Derek Warner. They live above it. They're James's roommate, and they got the space downstairs, and they turn it into a comedy spot, event spot. That's my dream. Mike Seaver living above the garage in Growing Pains. Like I always like, yeah, that's not the typical thing. You have a garage underneath, but I always like living above something. Like, you know what I mean? Like a store. And I was gonna go downstairs and have a coffee shop that makes bacon, egg, and cheeses from scratch with fucking crispy bacon made to order. You know what I mean? Any kind of bowl, chicken over rice bowl for lunch, taco one, Mediterranean. Like, I love this shit, and I think it's $1 million idea as you sell really good coffee and CBD products. And at night you have comedy and open mics. Like, that's my dream, and they're doing it. And I fucking love these guys. And we did a skit together. We're gonna have this show. It's still, we have three and a half weeks to get it together for the inaugural 420 show. But it's gonna be like shit. I'll get into it right now. It's gonna be like a talk show with a panel, me and Derek. Maybe rotating co-hosts throughout. We have access to all these comics, let alone the budding Astoria comedy scene, because after the Creek closed in Long Island City, a lot of comics moved to Astoria. Astoria is awesome. There's food for fucking days. Astoria is crazy. Like, maybe in other neighborhoods also, it's like a Grand Theft Auto game when you're driving around. There's all these just like scooter guys delivering Uber Eats. And it's just like when you're playing like Grand Theft Auto. I always make Grand Theft Auto references. I don't know. I just played hours of smoking weed and driving around playing that game. I loved it. And like, there's always like these weird scooter bike guys, and they're all over Astoria. When you drive and you look in the mirror, it's like a video game. It's fucking wild. But like, they're living it out there. They're doing it up with Grove 34, and we're gonna do like a Voltron or a Transformer. Like, what do I know? I know Howard Stern. I know like the whack pack from Howard Stern, the prank calls from Howard Stern, the fucking comedy aspect of Opie and Anthony, a little Star and Buck Wild, if anyone knows that reference from 105.1. That guy was out of control. His wildness, that's what I bring. A little late night where we have the comics do 5 minutes at the end of the show. The weed aspect, which is my life. The fucking gambling aspect. Like, yeah, people may have weed, but people may have fucking maybe do gambling and parlays also. I'm just checking the scores here real quick. Oh shit, we backdoor covered with Providence. And we have Baylor. Oh, let me just, on 6. Yeah, that's 9. I had them at 8.5 live bet in Providence. Back door, baby. They're up like 5 with like a minute left. They must have fouled them, missed, and hit all their free throws. Shout out to Providence. They were up, and then they fucking came back. Listen, I wanted to do this show where I fired some action on the air, and my genuine reaction as I just looked at the score. Baylor's up big. That's one of them. Baylor and that bigger parlay, that pays like $9,000, man. I'll get to it. I had a bad cash out last night, But this new show, I'm super excited. Like, we're going to take bits and pieces of everything that I knew and grew up with. Like, my trainer was telling me something about blank. I forget that part. And then the middle was imitation. And then there's one more thing. Like, I know I'm doing a bad job, but the imitation thing stuck with me because we talked about it. Like, imitation, it's not the worst thing. Like, we imitate each other. Like, back in the day, they imitate the guy who first made fire. Everyone else imitated that, and look where we're at now. Like, we're not imitating. I'm taking things that I know, like aspects of those shows, and trying to build my own show. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have comics on. I got my own. I'm gonna try to have like access to musicians, whack pack, maniac type people. It's gonna be good, man. I'm looking forward to it. Stay tuned. It's gonna be like a TV show type format. You know what I mean? With the guest panel. There's always people sticking around and hanging out. There's a good scene in the story. So we're going to have like comics, people in the audience. It's going to be fun. And listen, you see me doing this up here. You see me when I had guests. You know, we went full retard. We talked about it last show. You can't go full retard, you know? And so that's why I've been doing a lot of this by myself. It's hard for me to give power to someone else. I need to trust you. I need you to know that you're going to hold your end of the bargain. You know what I mean? And I could never really find like a complete team like that, and working with Derek and Rob and them at Grove, and we're gonna have a little fucking writing team. Like, I told him, I said, listen, I don't need to always have the mic in my hand. I can play off the ball. I play better off the ball. I can carry the team, but if I'm playing off the ball, like I could fucking, I can just sit there, shoot threes, throw down slam dunks, and bring the show along. You know what I mean? And like I'm super excited to be working with them. And stay tuned. We're working on the name, and just we're really chiseling out what's going to be a fucking awesome show. And I fucking love it, man. I love working with like-minded people, not those earlier comedy cunts that I was talking about. Real funny, like-minded people. I love it, man. But it's St. Patty's Day, New York City, a little rainy. I'm looking forward to corned beef. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Big Worm. She invited me and Kira down for a little corned beef. I love fucking corned beef, man. I love fucking corned beef. But like St. Patty's Day, like gambling, you don't deviate from the plan. You know what I mean? Like I just started UPS and I was broke as hell. And I think I had I used one of my first sick days. It was like my first year working, and they trickle them out. They don't just give them to you right away. You earn them as the year goes on. And I used one for a doctor's appointment the week before, and they never put it in for me. And I was living paycheck to paycheck. I just started. I was living on my aunt's floor. I was trying to get my own place. And I always go to the city. I would always go to the city for St. Patty's Day. I'm like, no, what, this year I got to work. You know what I mean? I took off last week. I get my check. It was a Thursday. They didn't pay me for last week. My check was short. I remember I made it to Linden Boulevard. I'm like, know what? I'm turning this truck around. I'm going to say I'm sick. Then I'm like, I can't do that. I'm trying to be a grown-up. My mom's house just got raided. I'm living on the floor of my aunt's house. So I worked that day. I go out with this guy, Frank Groves. He looked like the bulldog from Tom and Jerry, Spike. Just big cheeks. Fucking huge guy, but he was just a sweetheart. And we went out drinking. Ended up in Marine Park. Hit up a bar that used to be on Quinton Road. Then McMahon's on Flatbush. And we ended up at Hibernian? Some place on Flatbush. It's a real estate office now, right off of Avenue S. And we were doing Irish car bombs. I was getting wrecked. And we're both in our UPS uniform, and I was giving him a ride. He lived in Rockaway. I was living in my aunt's couch at the time in Bensonhurst on the floor, like in the caddy corner, like where a clean part of the rug was. And we get pulled over by Avenue U, and they said my license plate light wasn't illuminated. I didn't even know at that time that I had a license plate light. You know what I mean? This is 2000s. Like, there were still old cars on the road. And I didn't blow for the breathalyzer. The cop, the head cop, the top cop wanted to let me go. The rookie cop's like, no, man, you got to blah, blah, blah. And, like, fucking get arrested. They're bringing me to central booking. The kids are running up to the cell. Man, they arrested UPS. They're arresting everybody. Got a DUI. I'm thinking I'm going to lose my job. I just got thrown out of my mom's house. Now I'm fucking this up. And, you know what I mean? I always remember that St. Patty's Day. And, like, I didn't lose my job. I became the white hand truck. I lost my license. And UPS still let me work as part of the contract. But I always remember that kid running up to the cell. Man, they're arresting UPS. They're arresting everybody. And I deviated from the plan. I should have just took off and went to the city, gone drinking, try to take a girl home and fuck. Instead, I fucking worked like a fucking grown-up and cost me a DUI, almost my job, cost me my CDL license. But I'm here to laugh about it. You know, happy St. Patty's Day. Have some corned beef. Take an Uber, it's not worth it. Like, I took all these chances all those years, drinking and driving. Like, like that commercial where the cop pulls you over and you roll down the window and all the beer or wine pours out. Like, you always think you're smarter than the cop. But, like, you're in the car, you're sort of trapped. If they pull you over, you can either fly away or you're there. Like, how are you going to hide being drunk? It's one of the hardest things to do. You smell like booze. They got the machine for testing. You know what I mean? Like, you think you look better than you do, but you look fucking, you're shit-cocked. You know what I mean? Like... But listen, I hope people are out there, having a good time. And I remember when I was because they move you from cell to cell, that one central booking holding cell, that the cops were watching the Final Four and, like, roll up against the gate, watching the games through the cell. It was sort of fun. You know, it was like a bunch of fucking assholes that got arrested, fucking watching the March Madness together in downtown Brooklyn holding cell. As I think I'm losing my fucking job. But, yeah, like, and even, like, a couple of weeks ago, I meant to talk about, like, 2 weeks ago, last week, was Rockaway St. Patty's Day. And, like, I seen the lines of people for these tents. And, like, I'm standing there, like, I don't have FOMO. It was a different part of my life. I'm done. You know, like, it became too much of a job to get drunk. A handle of vodka, a bottle of Fireball, 36 Bud Heavy, sniffing 40 bags in one sniff. Like, that's a lot of work to keep the machine going and feeling high and like be up for days. Like, and like I don't miss these like bigger holidays, Rockaway St. Patty's Day, regular one, Mardi Gras, like, because you're jammed in. Like, maybe not Mardi Gras, but like if you're in a bar when they're jam packed, like I think about it, I'm like, that was never really fun. You have to shimmy by, you're waiting forever to pay $12 for a drink. Like, there was a lot of people out, but it was never like, and I saw all these people and like. Any sort of, if I had any FOMO subconsciously, I was like driving around that day, meeting people, and like, I'm like, yeah, man, I don't miss that at all. A line like a cattle herd trying to get into a tent to stand around and then move to the next spot where you're gonna stand around. Like, I really don't miss it, man. I know people enjoy it, but I enjoy the life I live now. I'd be able to go drive to eat wherever I want, smoking weed. It's a simpler life, man. Like, and I love my past life. That old life I used to live, but I just, this life I live now, I love it. Like smoking weed, drinking water, I feel good, drink coffee. Like, I don't know. It's just this, I like this one better. I don't know, maybe, I can't explain it. I was about to say maybe I grew up, but who the fuck knows, man. But happy St. Patty's Day. I hope people are enjoying it out there. What else did I write down? Yeah, look, I don't even think I took a breath this episode. I fucking came out of the gate hot. This fucking cunts were bothering me from last night. I had to talk to Kira. She's like, how'd your set go? I'm like, good. These fucking cunts. And like, I hear her. She's such a nice girl. I love her. She doesn't want to hear me complain. She knows I'm right, but she doesn't want to hear me complain about these cunts. But I feel right out of the gate. No edibles. You know what I mean? I traveled recently twice. I took edibles on the plane. It was fun. But, like, when I landed both times, I couldn't stop eating. And that was my problem. And I lost 20-something pounds, close to 30 pounds now, just from not eating edibles. I started this fasting shit, and I just touched on not drinking. I had, you know what I mean? Like, I have a beautiful girlfriend now. But I also had beautiful girlfriends in the past. I'm not comparing any of them. You know what I mean? I love Kira. I'm with her. I love her. She's beautiful. She's the best. She takes care of me. She's so supportive. But I had other girls in the past who like people would do anything for, and they're like, "Hey, stop drinking," and I'm like, "What the fuck am I gonna do all weekend?" You know what I mean? Like, and like I couldn't wrap my brain around it, and I stopped. I don't know how. You know what I mean? It just ran its course. And then people are like, "You gotta fast. You gotta fast," and I'm like, "How? I need my sandwich in the morning. I'm fat. I love eating." And then I started doing this recently, and I think between the edibles and the fasting, it's really coming off. I'm controlling eating and not drinking. I got to work on the gambling. But at least, like, eating and drinking, there's no good end results. At least gambling, there's a chance you might win 20,000. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might lose 20,000, but know what? There's a chance you might win it. I know that sounds like a true degenerate, but, like, I never could wrap my brain around it, and like I'm doing both. And like shout out to my trainer Vince. Like we started going for these fucking dips in the ocean, and we started in November. We even went to December. I missed January. We had a shaky January, getting sick, this, that, the other guy. And we even did it in February, freezing. Last week, my boy Spano, shout out to Spano, he came down. He's interested in it because he talked to me when I got out of the ocean and going in, and not like these polar dips. I'm going in for like 5 minutes swimming. You know what I mean? And like all the energy goes to your body because it protects your vital organs. And you come out, you're just exploding with energy. You know what I mean? And we did it, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We did it yesterday. And yesterday we were, a beautiful day in New York City. Beautiful day. We were boxing on the beach and then went swimming. I was in there for like 5 minutes. I came out. All the energy the blood goes through your fucking body. And it's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. These cold plunges are super popular. And there's something to it, man. I swear by it. I'm addicted. And tomorrow's going to be 60 degrees in New York. Listen, does it get better than... I love all seasons. People that complain about the winter, fuck you. It's building you up to get stronger. You make your way through the winter. You get through it. And then it's the beautiful spring, summer, fall. You kidding me? The temperatures are beautiful. I know the summer gets hot, but that's what the winter does. It gets you... It makes you love those other months. And tomorrow's going to be beautiful. I think unless it's windy, we're going to go for another dip. And between all these things, like, I'm going to get it back. I'm like a couple of pounds from the 200s, and that's my goal, to get back in it. You know, I gained a lot of weight from the pandemic, the bad relationship, the stress eating, man-made bullshit. But I'm back. I'm feeling amazing. I don't know if you can tell by my fucking... We're like a half hour in. I took 2 breaths the whole fucking show. I missed this. This is my therapy. I know I'm going to still do the other show, but I'm still going to do my selfish act of talking and doing this, because when I walk downstairs after this, I'm like, whew, I needed that. People go to therapy. This is therapy for me. This is talking. I love this shit, you know. And it's like I said, it makes me a better stand-up. Makes me talk on stage. You're used to talking and trying to be on. Some of these fucking comedy cunts should think about doing that. He fucking loses. But yeah, a couple more things. 2 more things. We're gonna wrap it up. But just friends of the show, on this show, THC TV, Harry, my old neighbor. Can I explain it? I can't. You know what I mean? He was 96. He's like the lady from Family Guy. She was pregnant every episode. You know what I mean? Like, he's been 96 since I moved in 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago now. And like, I don't know how we became friends. You know what I mean? I just stopped drinking. I had time on my hands. He would sit in as I'm making edibles and be fascinated about the whole medicine aspect of what I'm talking about. We would go out to eat, and he had stories for days. And like, I was like always talking to an older version of myself. You know what I mean? So many similarities, 50 years apart. You know what I mean? 55 years, whatever it was. It was so strange to me that, and like, I can't explain our friendship, but we became really good friends. Came to open mics with me, came to comedy shows, came on my cooking show twice. Who's medicating Big Mac egg rolls with a 96-year-old? You know what I mean? He's the fucking man, and he's seen it all. He fought Nazis, and like, one of the things that blew his mind the most was me eating. I came there super high after an open mic, and like, I ate all his candy. I ate a whole box of chocolate, like the Forrest Gump shit. And like, I fell asleep on his couch. I'm waking up. He's like, guy, wake up. Like, and he's like, always brought it up. Tommy, I never seen someone eat chocolate like that. This guy fought Nazis, and the amount of chocolate I bet I ate that night blew his mind more than fucking fighting Nazis in the war. You know, I'm in storming Normandy. But he moved to Cleveland, and he's been asking me to come down there. And I mean, people, I feel like Detroit, Cleveland, those types of places get a bad rep. And I'm here to tell you, for Ohio Tourism Board. Cleveland was awesome. And I just got back from Cancun, and Cancun was great. You know what I mean? Mexican people are amazing. But fucking Cleveland, me and Kira, we snuck away like a Thursday night, come back Sunday night. You know, so we're there Friday and Saturday. And he's getting old, and he took a spill right when I'm about to leave Thursday. He's like, don't come. I don't want you to see me looking like this. I'm like, Harry, I'm not your friend for your face. You know what I mean? Like, because he had a little bruise. He's a very prideful man. We went anyway the first day. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, awesome. You know what I mean? We're at this historic hotel in downtown Cleveland, the Regency Hyatt, but it was attached to this old, like, huge, like I can't even describe it. It's like looked like a Zeppelin, inside of a Zeppelin or something, and like classically old buildings, but in a cool way. And the food was top notch, really good coffee. The element of there's some street element also, so I like that. You still feel at home. You have to be on your toes. It's not like we're in a safe country area. I like that. You know what I mean? You got it. I like a little edge. You know what I mean? You need to be on your toes, head on a swivel. You know what I mean? But it was still just a lot of nice people, and like went out to some really good fucking restaurants. Then finally Harry hit me up. Oh, went to the Christmas Story museum. They bought the house from the Christmas Story. Took place in Ohio. And we went there. Then I rented a fucking Tahoe. I'm not name dropping. It was just I love that truck. I rented it for one day. We're in Cleveland. Visited Harry. It was fucking awesome. I gave him a new hat. Shout out to Prince Charles. We got the new Bake With Your Mama gave you hats in. He wouldn't take it off. I needed to go see him. It was awesome. Then we went to this Lebanese restaurant, and shout out to Berry, the lady he lives with. She's like, you're getting on stage. I'm watching you get on stage. And like, I'm like, this isn't happening. There's some guy singing like old show tunes or some shit. It's all older people at this Lebanese restaurant in Canton, Ohio. And we're in the bar now, and like the owner's like, hey, you're going up next. I'm like, shit, this is really happening. I'm like, fuck, man. I had to go in the bathroom and think for a second. I'm like, what are these jokes I've been working on? Harry's like, no 4-letter words. I'm like, that's all I fucking know. So I went up there and had to have some unconsensual comedy show in Ohio. It turned out to be awesome. Not my crowd, but the people that were into it were dying laughing. I let off like, anyone smoke weed here? I did a little weed joke. One person. So to let you know how it wasn't my crowd, only one person smoked weed at the whole room, but it was cool getting on stage in Ohio, and it was just a fucking fun ass trip. I highly recommend visiting Cleveland, man. There's some cool spots. Corned beef is a big thing. I love corned beef. You know, it's St. Patty's Day. I don't know, maybe a lot of German immigrants or some shit, big steel places, but we found a bunch of good spots to eat, like really fucking good. And got to visit my friend Harry, friend of the show, and fucking slinging dick still in Ohio, 96 years old, man. We had a fucking blast. And listen, we're gonna have more. I'm gonna get back on doing more big T shows, but I'm still gonna, the new show we're doing, I'm gonna promote it here, Synergy, and this is always my therapy, man. And thank you for whoever watches. I hope it's a little entertaining. And fucking gambling. I put in a parlay last. I was up money from the night before. It's just small little parlays. I try to build something and then let it fucking fly. And I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, like a month ago now. I had a parlay that paid $24,000. I'm not risking $24,000. It pays that much because I'm a maniac and I pick like 6 teams, 7 teams, and they offered me a cash out of like $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, and I pussied out like on a game show host, and fucking I ever since then they offered me cash outs, and I did it on my TikTok, on my Instagram. I cashed out over $70,000 in winning tickets and took less money because I pussied out, and the algorithm and computers are beating me. And people always like that don't use Waze. Shout out to you for having balls. Watson smoked everyone on Jeopardy. I'll take Waze and let them tell me how to get there, because the computer is always going to win and has been beating my ass. And I've been hitting, and I hit the other night, so I let it ride last night. Had a nice parlay, paid like 17, and I had one team left. Bucks -3.5 first half. I get home. Last time I asked Kira, I'm like, she's like, what's wrong? I told her what happened. I'm like, she's like, I wish you asked me. And it was such a small, I couldn't hedge. So I put like 1,000 on the Kings plus 3.5 first half. And it didn't pay much back, but I wanted to cover the money I was riding from the winnings. and they're offering me 10, 11. I'm like, no, know what? They're going to fucking cover. The Kings actually played the first quarter. They were up 5, and it starts dwindling, and I cashed out a 2,000, and the Bucks came back, and it was closer than I would like. And then I took the cash out money. I took the Bucks and the Bucks and the Raptors, and I hit for like half of the money. It's a consolation, but I deviated from the plan. I hedged it. I pussied out. The computer got in my head because I keep looking. It keeps offering me fucking cash outs. I'm like, what do they know? What do they know? And I deviated from the plan. And with March Madness happening today, my only gambling advice, you can never be good at gambling. You can only help to better your odds. And don't deviate from the plan. If you have a plan, stick with it. You have teams, stick with it. Don't deviate. Once you start changing it up, then when the parlay doesn't hit because you changed it, you deviated from the plan. I did that last night. Cost me some bread, but I'm still up. I'm still up for the fucking year. Had a good end of the year. And it's only like 2 more weeks in the NBA, and then I stop. I don't like to bet baseball. Barely do football. I do the big picks, big tits, big picks of the week. But that's something, of course, we can monitor it each week. It's interesting, you know. But the NBA, I love betting on the NBA, and it's coming to an end. I plan on winning some money at the end of the year. There's good teams fighting for seeding. The bad teams are playing young teams or thinking about Aruba because they had another shitty season. And we're going to try to make some money. But thank you for watching. Another selfish act of me talking. I appreciate you. And stay tuned for that new show at Grove 34. Local shows in Rockaway. And, summer's coming. I want to reach out to Prince Charles, who does all my fucking, what's that shit called? Graphic design needs. And we're going to have another basketball jersey. We already did the Knicks. We did the Nets. We did Miami South Beach. We did the Raptors last summer. We'll see what he has in store this summer. We're going to get that going, so stay tuned. And listen, just remember, be the person you are when you're high. Thanks. See you next week. Later.